the man. Because, in killing him, he was like saying, what authority do you have? And then he realizes what he's done. And the Lord takes him from there and calls him out of that for another 40 years of new training. And goes into the wilderness for another 40 years of training where he learns to be a shepherd. So it's an amazing thing, from warfare to shepherding, from using rods to using staffs. And so it's a complete journey. Now, if it all starts with Moses, we come into the first book of Moses now. And then, when Moses then has the time to write down the history, it's after 80 years of being drawn out of the water. Moses is now taken into a whole new journey where he meets with God on the Mount Sinai and moves into a dialogue with God, who starts to reveal and makes him put down on paper the story. But now he teaches him a whole lot of things. Because remember, the language that Moses spoke was a picture language in hieroglyphics. And now he needed to write a Hebrew history in a different language. And the Hebrew history was written in a language with letters that were very similar to the hieroglyphics, because each part of the Hebrew alphabet has a picture in it. So you go to the first letter is a yod, separated by a vav with another yod. The first letter then is aleph, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So he's going to go back to school to learn a whole new alphabet from the hieroglyphics to Hebrew. And so he learns the language. Aleph is the first letter, but it's also the number 1. Bet is the second letter, but it's also the number 2. And Gimel is the number 3. Dalet. And each of them have an image. And Yod is the 10th letter. And it literally means the hand above. The 10th letter literally means the hand above. So the hand above is separated from the hand below by the vav, which is a nail. So when you see the first image that is given to Moses of the revelation of the shadow of the things to come, is that the hand above will be connected to the hand below by a nail. First letter. And so, I will build my house, Bet, the house of God. Gimel, the journey, the movement, / that. Dalet, the door. I am the Dalet, I am the door, I am the way. Which shall be revealed. Hey, it's the 5th letter, which literally means the revelation for the window above. For the window above. And then of course, the nail below. And so, quickly kind of taking you through just like the alphabet, some of the alphabet of this revealed to Moses. He now has to take these letters and write the story in the pictures that the Lord has given him. So even the letters in the Hebrew alphabet is telling a story. And I want us to be very careful. We must be careful that we don't make a big deal about the numbers and the letters, because then we can find ourselves in error. And the study of the numbers of Hebrew and numerology, and then the Kabbalah and all these things, they have their root in the same words and in the same thing. But be careful that you don't allow yourself to get caught up into that whole thing. The Bible is not meant to be revealed so that we can read into it what we want to see. We must take out of it what is there. Alright? So the Lord says, meditate on my word. Chew it down to the finest detail, so that you will see that I am good. So the revelation of God through Moses, he now is going to write down the story. And so I'm going to see the note is starting with Moses, a descendant of Abraham, or Avram, because Bet can be pronounced either as B or, with a dot in the center, V. Yeah. Okay, so it's Avram or Abram. So you'll see some Orthodox Jews don't call him Abram, they call him Avram. Okay, because Avram is without the dot. And so when the Lord calls Avram, he changes his name, which has the house of God and the promise, the Aleph and the Bet, and then he brings in the H, what we call the H, Abraham. He brings in the H, which is the revelation of the name of God. The revelation of God. It's Yod He Vav He. The hand above revealed and beheld. The hand above revealed and beheld, the 5th letter. Okay? And then revealed through the Vav and revealed through the nail. So the hand, behold the hand, behold the nail. Yahweh, the name of God. So in the name of God is a revelation of the hand above and the nail below. Revealed to us through our Lord Christ Jesus. And so, again, when you start to familiarize yourself that Moses brought something to us. And he was bringing something more than just taking the people out of Egypt. There was a plan. There was a strategic picture in what God was doing in the big picture. And the detail wasn't hidden, it was hidden in plain sight. Because sometimes you've got to hide something in plain sight so that it looks like it doesn't fit in, but it is all part of God's plan. And so this man, who was actually a murderer, a forgiven murderer, a person who went for 40 years, and he went there for 40 years, and then Pharaoh died. And when Pharaoh died, the Lord said to him, Pharaoh's dead, now go back and represent my people. In the scriptures, Moses, when he brings his people into the place, into the promised land, he says to them, we're going to have a law. And the law is this: every region will have a city of refuge. Drawing on his own experience, that when he went to Midian, whilst Pharaoh was alive and he had killed that man, he was guilty of murder. So he went to a city of refuge where he lived till Pharaoh died. And when Pharaoh died, he was forgiven. He could go back to where the city of his crime was, and he could go and represent God. And he came, he says, in the city of refuge, if anyone accidentally kills another man, they may go to the city of refuge and they can live there till as long as the king lives. And when the king dies, they can leave the city of refuge. Coming from his own experience as a man who killed another man accidentally. So he struck him, didn't mean to kill him, but he died. And so it wasn't his intent to kill him, it was his intent to show his authority. And in doing so, he killed him. But the Lord is gracious. Just took another 40 years to prepare for a whole new journey. But again, I believe, part of God's plan. So, here's this Moses, who's been called from the fire and drawn out of the water, raised in the courts of Pharaoh. Now, there's a new Pharaoh. His brother, that he was raised with. And so when he goes back to his home city, it's his brother who's now king. And he returns representing God. Dressed no longer as an Egyptian, but dressed as a Hebrew. And coming with a whole new language and way of speaking. And speaks with a whole new authority. Speaks with a whole new authority. For he has now been taught in the ways of God. He has had a revelation of the things of God and the purpose of God for his life and for the life of God's people. So the revelation of God is, I will reveal my plan. He says, I will reveal my plan. And I will let you know the beginning from the end. I will reveal it to you so that you know. And when it happens, it will encourage you for you to know that I am with you. And I know last week I told you to read through the first chapter. So this is my file for the first 3 chapters of the Bible, where the revelation has been given. Now I share what God has given me from those scriptures. He said, Reshit bara Elohim shamayim et eret. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was void and full. And the Spirit of God hovered over the waters of the deep. And so, in the letters of the Hebrew, in the words of the Hebrew, we then see the following. The formlessness of the earth was there in the beginning. It was without form. It was covered, and the waters covered the earth. And darkness over the surface of the deep. The koshech, the darkness, covered the surface. So that the surface, the panech, the face of the earth, could not be seen. Just like the face of God could not be seen, neither at the beginning could the face of the earth be seen. And the Spirit hovered, and the Ruach Elohim, that's the first revelation of the Holy Spirit. The Ruach Elohim. In other words, the Spirit of God. The revelation that Moses had of God is that he was Elohim. El, all-powerful. El was the all-powerful, all-knowing judge, the righteous judge. The Spirit of God literally came forth from the Father and hovered over the surface of the deep. And so it's important as we read it in the Hebrew, we go, there's more to it than just the Sunday school story. You see, Elohim uttered the following words. He says this, Ameh Elohim Hayaor Vahaya. And he uttered, let there be light. And light became. It wasn't just that there was light. It wasn't like we just switched on the light. Light became. And so that which was in darkness, the Choshech, became lit up. And for the first time in creation, the face of the earth was visible. To who? It was just visible. For God sees in the darkness. He needs no light.
Yeah.
He is light. So we have to therefore understand that the light that penetrated the darkness came from the Father. Came from Elohim. It wasn't that he just uttered it. He spoke it into creation. And he penetrated creation with the light of the essence of who he was, the life giver. So life came into that which was void of life. And that which was darkness, without form, without anything, became full of light. For the light is life. So here the Lord says, the true judge. If taking just the names of God, the revelation of the words that Moses used, this is what he was saying. The true judge, perceived by inspection of the creation, that the light was torn. It was good. He, the Lord, had a sense of equity, and he divided rightly between the light and the darkness, and he brought about a badal, a separation. So for the first time in creation, the coexistence of light and darkness came about. And it was good, but they were separated. So light and darkness coexisted, but never in the same space. Never in the same space. For when lightness comes into the darkness, darkness must flee. So this is the revelation that is given to Moses. And he was saying there that the ore, the higher ore, the ore that came, the light that proceeded from God, pushed back the darkness, and God separated. He separated. And then he called it good. And it was the first day. Yom Echad. The first day. The first day. And on this first day, it's Echad. It's Yom. And Yom there is, we translated in the King James and in the modern translation, it's called day. But it actually is, and the first age began. It's an eon. The day there is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like a day. And it's not about the time, it's about the penetration of the light. And when the light came, it separated darkness. And there was Boker and Erev, night and day. And then night always precedes day. So a day is not when the sun rises. A day begins when the sun sets. Okay, so Elohim proclaimed that the light would be day, Yom, while Choshech, darkness, would be called night. And it came that the Erev and the Boker, the first day, Yom Echad, day one. So just reading through the scriptures, you get that Moses had meditated and was led by God to pen these words in a sequential way of revelation. Moses was using pictures and putting them into letters, and he was trying to take the hieroglyphic knowledge of the pictures and trying to put in a singular letter a story of eternity. And so the Lord says, when you meditate on my word, it will feed your soul. When you meditate on my word and you take it in, it will be like life comes in. My word is light and it will penetrate your darkness. So when we feed on God's word, the same thing happens that happened at creation. For it's the same light that still brings that